So, YANGYANG. YANGYANG is a free 4-star sword character that you unlock at the start of the game. So yes, she is very free-to-play friendly, because you get her for free. Anyways, without further ado, this is a free-to-play guide for YANGYANG. Let's begin. So her kit is very interesting, to say the least. I won't say anything about her basic attack because it's pretty much the same as any sword character, but her skill is where it gets a bit interesting. It sucks the enemies in a little bit, and it does okay-ish damage. Even though I upgraded her basic attack, in my opinion you should leave the basic attack and resonance skill on level 1, because they aren't the source of her damage, so it would be a waste of resources. Now, her forte circuit is not too bad. Once she has 3 stacks of melody, you jump into the air and she does like a ton of slashes, which does look pretty sick. She gains 1 stack of melody every 4th basic attack hit and with every intro skill and every resonance liberation. Now, her ult is where she starts to shine. Her ult is basically her resonance skill, but bigger and better. It sucks the enemies in and groups them up for you. So if you use her with a character that is single target, she can shine and you can pretty much melt any small enemy. Yes, you heard me right. Only small enemies. Her ult is pretty much useless on bosses and big enemies. I guess it does a bit of damage, but it's pretty much unnoticeable. Now, her intro skill is why she is insane. It does a ton of shield break to enemies, so it is very good. And it does pretty good damage. Now, her last things to say about her kit is the inherent skills and her outro skill. Her first inherent skill, she recovers 30 stamina after she casts her big jump slash attack. I think that would be good if her ult was good 10 out of 10 times. Her second inherent skill increases her arrow damage bonus by 8% for 8 seconds after she uses her intro skill. I think this would make her do a bit more, but honestly it would almost be unnoticeable, and in my opinion it isn't that worth getting this upgrade. And her outro skill recovers about 20 resonance energy over 5 seconds for the next character. This one is pretty good, which is why people say she is more of a support than damage dealer. I will say more about the outro skill in a bit when I talk about echoes. Other than that, the rest of her skills are 4 attack, which gives her 12% more attack in total, and 4 arrow damage bonuses, which give 12% more arrow damage bonus. So they are pretty good if you use her as a damage dealer, but if you use her as a support, don't upgrade any of them honestly. Anyways, now it's time for echoes. Like always, 4 cast echoes, crit rate or crit damage, main stat, 3 cast arrow damage, and 1 cast attack percent. And for substats, you want energy regen, crit damage, crit rate, more attack percent, and resonance liberation, which is ult. Support build for YANGYANG, 5-piece moonlit clouds with Bellborn Geoshelon, aka the turtle, as the main echo. Because when you use her outro skill, it will buff the attack of the next character for a couple of seconds. If you don't have the turtle, Impermanence Heron can be used instead, but it's not that hard to get the turtle since you can farm it infinitely. Sub DPS build for YANGYANG, 5-piece Sierra Gale with Phalian Beringal, aka the big monkey, as the main echo. This one obviously is only for her to do more damage, and me personally I use this one because it is funnier. And I guess a mix of the two, 2-piece Sierra and 2-piece Moonlit with Impermanence Heron as main echo. The 2-piece Sierra gives you arrow damage bonus and the 2-piece Moonlit gives more energy regen. But honestly, go for the 5-piece set because it is way better. Now for her weapons, I would split it into DPS and support weapons, but honestly, no weapon that is currently in the game buffs other party members. Emerald of Genesis, which is a 5-star, is her best in slot. It gives crit rate as substat, and its passive is 12.8% more energy regen. And whenever she uses her resonance skill, she increases her own attack by 6%, which can stack 2 times for 10 seconds. Honestly, getting 2 stacks of attack is a bit hard with this one, I think because you only have it for 10 seconds. and her skill has a 10-second cooldown. So I'm not sure if the countdown begins once her skill ends or as soon as you cast it, so feel free to tell me in the comment. Command of Conviction 4-star is her second best in slot. It gives her attack as a substat and its passive is 15% more attack for 15 seconds after she uses her intro skill. I think that one is straightforward, nothing special about it. And Lunar Cutter 4-star is her third best in slot. It gives attack as substat and its passive is quite a mouthful, so bear with me. Equipped Resonator gains 6 stacks of oath upon entering the battlefield. Each stack increases attack by 2% for a total of 12%. This effect can be triggered one time every 12 seconds. Oath reduces by 1 stack every 2 seconds. Upon defeating an enemy, it resets stacks to 6. This one is a bit weird on her since she isn't that long on the field, so when she kills an enemy, it will probably be because of her intro skill. So the stacks aren't really an issue. And the craftable 4-star weapon from the blacksmith is pretty much useless on her. Only good thing about it is its substat, which is attack, but passive is pretty useless for her. Now, resonances. Honestly, first 3 aren't too crazy. R1 is just a bit more aero damage, which is nice, don't get me wrong. Her R2 makes it so her heavy attacks recover more energy for her once every 20 seconds, which is meh, honestly. Her R3, however, increases her skill damage by 40%, which is a small bonus, but her skill also expands its range by 33%, which I am not sure how good it is, but it sounds pretty good to me. Her R4 is just 95% more damage on her air attack, which is good for the sub DPS build. R5 makes her ult do 85% more damage, which is nice, but again best on subs DPS builds. And her R6 is very good for support YANGYANG. After she casts her air attack, she increases all allies' attack by 20% for 20 seconds. So if you have her at R6, she might not be too bad of a pick as a support. Now the teams. Now, since she is a sub DPS / support, you can pretty much use her with anyone. Me personally, I use her with Calcharo and Baiji, but you can use her with Rover and Verena, or you can use her with like a full aero team, anything will work because of her kit. But if you really want something specific, you can use her with pretty much any single target DPS, so she groups them all with her ult and skill. And that is pretty much everything about YANGYANG. Hope you guys learned something, and for my fellow YANGYANG users, big kiss. Bye bye.